Jai Hind everyone. My name is Aman Gupta and I am working as an assistant professor in MC department in Aji Kumar Garg Engineering College. Today we are going to discuss cybersecurity KCA A01 and the topics that we have covered today: types of information system, information system that contain under types are management information system, decision support system, executive information system, and what are the system development models, and we discuss about security risk analysis. So let's start with types of information system. First of all, information system is divided into two parts, that is operation support system and management support system. So operation support system means all the processing that has been taken place according to the transactions that have been done from client to the supplier or the for the processing purpose. Then second is process control system, and then ECS, enterprise collaboration system. Likewise, management support system is also divided. We can divide it into three parts, that is MIS, management information system, in which all the reporting type tasks have been done. Decision support system, which helps for managers to take decisions for the organization, and last one is executive information system, information that has been tailored for the executives. So first of all, transaction processing system. So transaction processing system are the information system applications that capture and process data or business transactions. These are the information that has been processed to get some reports, that is called data processing system. Their objective is to process transactions in order to update records and generate the reports. So basically, what does transaction processing system do? All the data, all the records have been processed at the time of transaction processing system, and its objective is to update the records and also generate the reports. We can process a transaction by two ways, that is first is batch processing and second one is online transaction processing. So in batch processing, we can see that for example, a payroll TPS, transaction processing system, gathers employees' hours for 2 weeks and then process all the hours in one batch to calculate the paycheck amount. So in batch processing, all the information has been collected and then processed as a batch. And in online transaction processing, likewise, cash receipts, card payments, for example, ATM machine system, banking transactions, cash register system, POS transactions, that are all the examples of the online transaction processing. Next is process control system. So it supports operations in an organization. All the operations that has been held, that has been occurred in an organization to facilitate the flow of the information or facilitate the flow of a process, that is called the process control system. It helps in monitoring and control industrial manufacturing process, helps in making day-to-day decisions for all the managers, executives, and controlling the operational processes. For example, warnings of leakage, petroleum refining, power generation, automobile manufacturing, all these are the examples of the PCS, that is called the process control systems. Next is enterprise collaboration system. So it supports operations by sharing information among the employees. So how can the information flows in an organization? By the means of email or by the means of some WhatsApp messages, or they can use chat within an organization to communicate one employee to another by using all these apps. Proper flow of information helps in increasing the productivity of an organization. So, and it can help teamwork, communication and the collaboration. So, it facilitates all these things when we talk about the ECS, Enterprise Collaboration System. Next is Management Information System. So, what does Management Information System do? It is an information application that is used for mainly for the focuses on the reporting purpose. It is used for the reporting purpose, usually in a predetermined and a structured predefined format. So, the structure or the format for the report has been predefined, fixed, and the managers or the information that has been collected from the TPS, Transaction Processing System, all these records have been transferred to the Management Information System to collectively give a report which helps in taking some decisions. Management Information System supplement transaction, that we have said this, Transaction Processing System with management reports required to plan, monitor and control business operations. So, we can say that it take relatively raw data that is available through a TPS, Transaction Processing System, and then it has been converted into a summarized report for the managers. So, there may be a different type of reports that has been produced under Management Information System, like summary reports, charts, graphs, on-demand reports, ad hoc reports, exception reports. So, all these are examples of the reports that has been generated in Management Information System. Next is Decision Support System. So, Decision Support System is an interactive information system that provides different type of information models that has been used, the tools that helps in making the decisions, in different type of situations or semi-structured and unstructured situations. So, it helps the organizations by providing different type of data manipulation tools to help in making the decisions on the basis of the data that has been provided by the TPS and the reports that has been provided by the MIS, that is Management Information System. It supports managerial decision making. So, by the use of the reports that has been provided through MIS, DSS supports the supports in decision making for managers. Decision support system are concerned with providing useful information to support the decision process. So, the information that has been provided under the DSS helps in supporting the decision process. Gathering relevant information and analyze the options and alternatives. And how decisions can be made? Decisions can be made by making use of the relevant information that has been gathered through MIS and TPS, and after that analyze the options and the alternatives. It is an information system application that provides its user with decision-oriented information whenever a decision-making situation arises. So, we can define a DSS or decision support system by this definition. A DSS is designed to support semi-structured and unstructured decision. That has been, we already discussed this. Most DSS are custom developed for specific companies, very few out of the box. So, different organizations have different concept of their decision making type decisions. So, every company have their custom developed DSS. So, they have their own decision support system that have been used by the companies. Every individual company has their individual decision support system to take decisions for their company. Next is Executive Information System. It provides critical information from other systems, MIS and DSS. So, it is the portal concept that all the data has been collectively placed at one place with links to all the information. For example, ERP. So that is what type of information is needed, has been available from one place only. EIS integrate external information such as economic developments and news about related markets and competitors. So it also have the different type of information, information about the competitors or the market trends, research. All this information, external information, has been come under EIS. It helps in strategic decision making, not necessarily tactical. So this helps, all the information collectively helps in making the strategic decision. What is the difference between strategic and tactical? Tactical means doing things the right way. Right means the right things that have been already discovered, that these are the right things to do something right. So these are the tactical things. And strategic doing the right things, that is not defined, but we can take a decision on the basis of the market trends, etc., and we can make a strategy and take a decision on the basis of the records or the data. For example, new series of product launch based on 5-year sales of same brand. So this is the type of strategic decision, that product has been launched last year, and mobile, for example, a mobile has been launched last year or 5 years back, and on the basis of the same brand, after the successful completion of 5 years, the next series should be launched or not. It can be decided, or a strategic decision can be made on the basis of that information. Next is knowledge based system. It provides information to users in different business areas when required. So there are two types of knowledge based system. One is expert system and second is knowledge based system. So what is the difference between expert based and knowledge based system? Expert system means that it provides the information or the complete knowledge and expert advice for making the various managerial decisions. It has two components like knowledge base and software modules. And what is knowledge based system? It also has two components, explicit knowledge and tacit knowledge. So information that has been already documented and stored somewhere and coded with the help of information system is called the explicit information, and that is stored in human mind, that has been generated from the human mind, is called the tacit knowledge. So collectively, when we see the systems from a functional perspective, all the parts that we have seen, the types of information system, all are interchangeable, or all are collected reversibly. Means management system is connected with transaction TPS, TPS is connected with MIS, ESS, knowledge, KWS. So all these things are related to each other. Next is development of information system, that is called SDLC models. So what is SDLC? SDLC is software development life cycle. Everything that have been occurred should have a life cycle. Software development life cycle is used to facilitate the development of a large software product in a software company. So why we used a software development life cycle? It is used for a large software to make the program or make the software in a systematic way, in a well-defined way, and also it can affect in cost management also. So an information system goes through a series of phases from conception to implementation. Means first of all, if we talk about a human, first of all human take birth, and then child phase, and then youngster, then old. So this is the life cycle of a human being. In the same way, there is a life cycle for a software. So this process is called the software development life cycle. And various reasons for using life cycle models included that it helps to understand the entire process. We should know before start working on a certain software, we should know that how it works and how it is going to work. So it is important that first of all to understand the entire process. Second is enforces a structured approach to the development. That should be well defined. That first, what would you going to do, next step, what you are going to do. So that is should be in a structured format. It enables planning of the resources in advance. Planning of resources that has been used, what type of server you are going to use, what type of database, and how much storage you required. So all these things are all the resources that have been required in making a software. All these things should be well defined. Enable subsequent controls of them. Which part, which role have how much power, how much control on these components, it should also be already defined. Sports management to track progress of the system. And it also gives supports to the managers or the senior persons to see the progress of the software that has been made. There are different type of phases of software development life cycle, that is feasibility check. First of all, the programmer or the company who are going to develop a software should check that it is it feasible to make a software or not. That is going to be checked in the first step, that is called the feasibility check. Second step is the requirement gathering and analysis. All the data that has been required to develop a software should be at one place. The raw data, the feedback, the requirement from the client, requirement from the organization, all the requirement should be clear and concise. Then we make the third step, that is called the design. All the classes should be declared, of what type of classes, database structure, that has been defined in the design stage. Next is implementation, that is also called the coding. Implementation, in which all the declaration that we have declared in our design phase, all these things are implemented or coded in this implementation phase. Next is testing. After the coding, the next phase is testing. All the work that have been done so far in the software has been tested, that it works fine or not, and then the software has been deployed to the server or the whatever the place you want to use that software. And then the last stage is the maintenance, that after deployment of the software, it has been seen that is it work fine or not for 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, it has been monitored for in the maintenance phase. Now what is the software process? So a set of activities whose goal is the development or the evolution of the software is called as the software process. So generic activities that has been involved in all the software processes are, that is the specification, means what the system should do and its development constants. Next is development, that is what the production of the software system. Validation, checking all the steps that have been used working fine or not. So that has been checked in the validation. Evolution is changing the software in response to changing the demands. Next is security risk analysis. So in security risk analysis, first we have to understand that what is a risk. So we can define risk as a quantified measure of the likelihood of a threat being realized. when a threat has been realized that maybe it can harm our system, is called a risk. And what is risk analysis? It involves the identification of the threat, identification and assessment of the levels of the risk. And it can be, how can it be calculated? It can be calculated from the value of the assets that can be affected from the risk. So, the values of the assets can be used for the assessment of the levels of the risk, that how much effect it can harm to our system or our software. Threats to the assets. Next is we have to identify the threats to the asset and their vulnerabilities and likelihood of the exploitation. So we can define risk management. It involves the identification, selection and adoption of security measures, and it can be justified by the identified risk to the assets. First of all, we have to identify the assets and then the identify risk to the assets. The reduction of these risks to acceptable levels means, first of all, find out the risk, how much risk there are in the system, and by the use of risk management, it can be reduced to that extent that may not affect your software or to the next level. Security risk analysis can also be defined as the risk assessment is fundamental to the security of any organization. It is essential in ensuring and controls and expenditure are fully commensurate with the risk to which the organization is exposed. So, these are the goals of the risk analysis that we have already discussed, that all assets have been identified. All assets should be identified. When we talk about risk analysis, all assets should be identified. All threats have been identified. All the threats that may be possibly attack the system should be identified. Their impact on assets have been valued. The impact of threats on the assets has been valued. We should know that how, to what extent they can harm our system. All vulnerabilities have been identified and assessed. So, all the vulnerabilities, threats, loopholes in the system should be identified and assessed. So, this all the security risk analysis we can discuss it in our further videos. So, for today, that's all. Thank you so much.